So, like always, before we begin, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the universe, to all the enlightened masters who have guided humanity, to Brahmashir Pitama Patriji for bringing this wisdom of meditation into our lives, to the PSSM Australia team for this opportunity, and to Anita Moorjani for courageously sharing her life journey through dying to be me. I also thank each one of you for being here with an open heart. May this discussion inspire us to live with more love and less fear. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to offer this through Inner Awakening with Shivani in collaboration with PSSM Australia. So today we are starting part 2, which is my journey to death and back. That includes her near-death experience, her healing, and how she has seen life after her near-death experience. So the chapters are Leaving the World Behind, Something Infinite, Realizing the Miracle. So we will go through the chapters one by one. Next slide, please, Chandra. So today's topic of the chapter is Leaving the World Behind. From fear and suffering to freedom, unconditional love, and a completely different sense of self. At the edge of death, Anita begins to experience awareness beyond the body and a reality for greater than fear. So I will be reading a lot from the book today because I did not want to miss how she has expressed. And I also request everyone to please put on the cameras if you can, so that I can connect better with you all. Thank you. And I also want to say that she has used a word quite a lot, a tapestry. So I didn't know the meaning earlier. So I searched Google it, what's tapestry. So I'm going to explain it so that you all understand what we are talking about. So a tapestry is literally a large piece of woven fabric made from many different colored threads that together create one complete picture. So in Anita's context, a very simple way to understand is imagine looking at one thread of a carpet. You cannot understand the design. For example, if you take one thread, can you know what is the design of the carpet? No, we cannot. So, but when you step back, all the threads together create the complete picture. So Anita says she experienced life in a similar way. So this word is going to be used quite often. So I just wanted to let you know. Next slide, please, Chandra. From fear and suffering to freedom, unconditional love, and a completely different sense of love. The body was failing, but Anita felt more aware. Anita was rushed to the major hospital in a coma. This was a different and bigger hospital from where she used to go for regular visits. The doctors believed there was almost no chance of saving her. Her organs were shutting down. Her lungs were filled with fluid, and her body was extremely weak. The oncologist told Denny, your wife's heart may still be beating, but she's not really in there. It is too late to save her. Yet Anita describes experiencing something completely different internally. Although her body appeared unconscious, she says she was intensely aware of what was happening around her. She could hear the doctors. She sensed Danny and her mother's fear. She told desperately to her mom and Danny that I'm fine, I'm not in pain anymore. Who's the doctor talking about? Don't cry, Mama. So she thought she was speaking these words aloud, but nothing came out. No one could hear her. Anita is telling in her book, I wanted to hug my mother, comfort her, and tell her that I was fine. And I couldn't comprehend why I was unable to do so. Why was my physical body not cooperating? Why was I just lying there, limp, when all I wanted to do was to hug my beloved husband and mother, assuring them that I was fine and no longer in pain? So what looked terrified outside felt peaceful inside. The medical team was urgently trying to keep Anita alive. Sorry, I just forgot to tell. When it says all these words that she's saying, I'm fine, I'm not in pain anymore, she's saying it aloud, according to her, very loud, but no one could physically hear her. So the medical team was urgently trying to keep Anita alive, more accurately aware of all that was going on around me than I've ever been in a normal physical state. Anita is describing that a completely different type of perception kicked in for her. More than just perceive, she seemed to also encompass everything that was happening as though she was slowly merging with it all. This particular part I want to read from the chapter so you understand what she's saying. I was still connected to the portable oxygen tank, and when I reached the radiology lab, they removed the mask from my face, lifted me up, and put me in the MRI machine. Within a few seconds, I started choking, coughing, and spurting. Please don't remove the oxygen. And she can't lie down flat. Please, she's choking. She can't breathe. She's going to die if you do this. I heard Danny cry out to the medical team. We really need to do this, explained one of the radiologists. Please don't worry, we'll be as gentle as we can. She can handle about 30 seconds of the oxygen at the time. So the radiologist slid me out of the MRI capsule every 30 or 40 seconds to put the oxygen mask over my face, then removed it and slid me back in again. So every 30, 40 seconds, she was out of MRI because the oxygen tank, she couldn't survive without oxygen tank. If they will remove it more than 30 seconds, she will die. After they finished, they wheeled me to the intensive care ICU. And I'm telling all this is because whenever this is happening, she is still in coma. So she knows exactly what Denny said, what radiologist said, and what is happening in that moment. I noticed that the nurses were still scurrying around, preparing to hook up my near lifeless body to the hospital oxygen and other machinery to start an intravenous flow of fluids and glucose since I was seriously malnourished. There was a monitor above my bed, and they started connecting me so that they could measure my body pressure and heart rate. A food tube was inserted through my nose, down the back of my throat, and into my stomach so that I could be fed directly, and oxygen was being pumped through my nose via a respirator. So, this is how intense the situation was in that moment. And as if she's standing, in a room watching someone else, going through all this. They had trouble inserting the food tube and sliding it down my trachea. So they sprayed something down my throat to numb the muscles and were then able to push the tube down more easily. I knew when people came in to see me who they were and what they were doing. Although my physical eyes were closed, I seemed to be acutely aware of every minute detail that was taking place around me and beyond. The sharpness of my perception was even more intense than if I had been awake and using my physical senses. I seemed to just know and understand everything, not only what was going on around me, but also what everyone was feeling, as though I were able to see the feel through each person. So Anita is mentioning not only the looking, she could also feel the emotions people are feeling in that moment. And notice how she's saying that there was she's able to monitor or register in her mind the different activities happening at the same time, right? Even if we are standing at a person, we probably will miss something, but she's able to see 360 degrees and she's able to register everything. I was able to sense their fears, their hopelessness, and their resignation to my situation. Whatever I focused on would come clear in that moment. So she's saying she just have to place a focus and she will know what is happening in that moment, in that particular place. I can't find her veins. I heard one of the nurses saying frantically to the doctor on duty. He sounds so hopeless, I thought. He is ready to give up on me, and I don't blame him. Her lungs are filled with liquid. She is drowning in her own fluid. That was the senior oncologist speaking. Although the medical team moved at great speed and there was a sense of urgency in their actions, I also sensed an air of acceptance, as though they had come to terms with the fact that it was too late to change my fate. I was extremely aware of every detail, but I couldn't physically feel anything that is except a release and a level of freedom I'd never known before. So she's ending this by saying that she could feel everything, but she's also feeling a sense of freedom in that moment. I felt like I had been released from prison. I felt no emotional attachment to my seemingly lifeless body as it lay there on the hospital bed. It didn't feel as though it were mine. It looked far too small and insignificant to have housed what I was experiencing. I felt free, liberated, and magnificent. Every pain, ache, sadness, and sorrow was gone. I felt completely unencumbered. I couldn't recall feeling this way before, not ever. So, for 4 years, cancer had severely restricted Anita's physical life. She had needed oxygen, a wheelchair, she had lived with pain, extreme weakness, and there were lemon sized, big, large tumors in her body, and so many tumors inside her body. But now she describes feeling as though she had finally been released from a prison. There were no tubes, no wheelchair, no difficult breathing, no pain. She felt free, liberated, magnificent, right? So, and to her, it didn't feel unusual. It felt normal to her. And she's saying that she never felt like this ever before. Uh, and she is here telling that the doctor and Danny was talking some 40 feet away from the, I think have I covered that? So I'm mixing up in my head. Sorry.
No, it started with that actually, but
Did I? Yeah. So that was, yeah. So what I'm saying is that she had this conversation is happening 40 feet away down the hallway, but where she is in the coma, she could also hear that. So that's how her awareness was, that where she will put a focus, she will know what's happening, and she could hear the conversation. Not even hearing the conversation, she could feel their feelings as well. So Danny was grieving and Anita wanted to comfort him. Anita says she became aware of a conversation between the doctors and Danny some distance away. So this is how the conversation go. There's nothing we can do for your wife, Mr. Moorjani. Her organs have already shut down. She has tumor the size of lemons throughout her lymphatic system, from the base of her skull to the below her abdomen. So from here till the down, there are a series of lemon tumors in her body. Her brain is filled with fluid and her lungs as well. Her skin has developed lesions that are weeping with toxins. She won't even make it through the night, the man told Danny. This doctor was someone I had never seen before. I watched as Danny's face changed to anguish and wanted to cry out of him. It's okay, darling. I'm okay. Please don't worry. Don't listen to the doctor. What they said isn't true. But I couldn't. Nothing came out. He couldn't hear me. I don't want to lose her. I'm not ready to lose her, Danny said. Although I wasn't filled with any attachment to my body, I felt a deep pull on my emotions to the drama that was unfolding around my inert form. More than anything, I wanted to relieve Danny to the deep despair he was experiencing at the thought of losing me. So what's happening at the moment is Anita is feeling free, but then and she is feeling no attachment to the body. But then she see Danny grieving. So she want to comfort Danny that don't worry, I'm okay, but she's not able to because Danny cannot hear her. As soon as I began to get emotionally attached to the drama taking place around me, I also felt myself being simultaneously pulled away, as though there were a bigger picture, a grander plan that was unfolding. I could feel my attachment recede as I began to know that everything was perfect and going according to the plan. So, what's happening now? So, her body is going up, and she started as she was going emotionally getting attached with the drama is like Danny being upset of losing her. She was also felt simultaneously pulled away. So she's like moving like this, this is drama, this is the universe. So she's moving towards the cosmos and she's feeling free, but she also know that as she is pulled away, there is a bigger picture, there is a grander plan, there is everything perfect in that plan. So she said, I began to know that everything was perfect and going according to the plan. So she knew whatever is happening as per the plan. If she is dying, it is happening as per the plan. So she and Danny will be okay. So, Ramesh Uncle, this is another realization I had, that everything is happening as per plan. So, accept Shivani, accept whatever is happening. It's okay. So, next slide, please, Chandra. The sense of separation began to disappear. Anita describes her awareness expanding until she no longer felt separate from the people around her. She described becoming everything and everyone. Now, this is a lesson of oneness. She is everything and everyone. She says she could sense Danny's fear almost as though it were her own. She said, I became him. She also became aware of her brother Anoop traveling towards Hong Kong, even though he was thousands of kilometers away. She could feel that he is anxious. Anita recalls knowing that she didn't want her physical body to be dead before he arrived. She was aware of how that would make him feel, and she didn't want him to go through that. Each time she became emotionally attached to her family's pain, she felt drawn back toward them. And each time she released that attachment, she again experienced expansion and peace. So now she's telling how she's in the middle of the things. So she's also feeling attached to what is happening on the earth. And also, she's again, when she released a little bit of attachment consciously, she again experienced expansion and peace. So her attachment was keep on pulling her back to the earth. Otherwise, she was feeling free and expanded and magnificent, and that's why she wanted to go. Unconditional love and without having to earn it. Anita further explains, as I continued to plunge deeper into the other realm, expanding outward, becoming everyone and everything, I felt all my emotional attachments to my loved ones and my surroundings slowly fall away. What I can only describe as superb and glorious unconditional love surrounded me, wrapping me tight as I continued to let go. The term unconditional love really doesn't do justice to the feeling, as these words have been overused to the point of having lost their intensity. So she's saying there is no words to explain how much unconditional love she felt. And more importantly, she's mentioning that she felt she doesn't have to do anything to deserve that love. So slowly, as the time is passing, she is actually also losing her emotional attachment to the earth. As Anita describes, going deeper into this experience, one feeling became dominant: unconditional love. So now I'm telling in her words, I didn't feel as though I'd physically gone somewhere else. It was more as though I'd awakened. So she's saying she was physically there. It's not that she has gone physically somewhere else in other realms. It is more of a feeling of being awakened, that she was awakened in that moment. Perhaps I'd finally been roused from a bad dream, as if we woke up from a bad dream. My soul was finally realizing its true magnificence. Sorry. And in doing so, it was expanding beyond my body and this physical world. It extended further and further outward until it encompassed not only this existence, but continued to expand into another realm that was beyond this time and space, and at the same time included it. So, what she's saying here is not that physically she went into another realm, but her awareness, her expansion, her mind, she could feel her everywhere in other realms as well. So she felt going beyond this time and space. Love, joy, and awe poured into me, through me, and engulfed me. I was swallowed up and enveloped in more love than I ever knew existed. I felt more free and alive than I ever had. As I described, I suddenly knew things that were not physically possible, such as the conversations between medical staff and my family that were taking place far away from my hospital bed. The overwhelming sensations were in a realm of their own, and words don't exist to describe them. The feeling of complete, pure, unconditional love was unlike anything I'd known before. Unqualified and non judgmental. It was totally undiscriminating, as if I didn't have to do anything to deserve it, nor did I need to prove myself to earn it. And because her life journey is all about, getting validation from others, be good to others, she is specifically mentioning that the love she felt, she didn't have to earn it or do anything to deserve it. She just, got that love. She describes being surrounded by love that required absolutely nothing from her. Her father and Sony. Anita says she became aware of the presence of her father, who died 10 years earlier, and they had a little conversation as well. She also sensed her best friend Sony, who dies 3 years prior. She describes this not an ordinary conversation, like she isn't talking. She was merely thinking those words. So their presence brought her enormous comfort. In this paragraph, Anita also says in her book that when she saw her father, she said, through, telepathy in her mind, she thought, "Oh, Dad, are you here?" And her dad says, "I was always here looking after you." So she felt that they had been connected with her, even they means father and the friend, connected with her even during the years when she had not consciously sensed them. So she specifically mentioned the word consciously. That means when, we are so busy in our lives that sometimes we do not sense. And yes, it is hard for us to sense the souls. But then she said that she knew that they were all always present around her. She was also aware of other beings around her. She didn't recognize them, but she knew they loved her very much and were protecting her. She realized that they were all the time surrounding her with so much love, even when she wasn't conscious of it. She mentioned that she had 360-degree peripheral vision with total awareness of her surroundings. And as amazing as it all sounds, it still felt almost normal. Being in a body now felt confining. Time no longer felt linear. One of the more unusual part of Anita's experience was her perception of time. She says past, present, and future no longer seemed separate. Everything appeared to exist simultaneously. So she's saying she even describes what seemed like another life involving her brothers Anoop. She is now give a little bit of description of her brother Anoop, that in the other life her brother, the brother who is now elder to her, is in other life is younger to her, and in that other life they are living in a hut, and she looks after her brother when the parents go to the fields to do the work. So she has given a little bit of description. In our interpretations, our physical senses may make reality appear linear because we experience time one moment at a time. So she mentioned that we on earth plane, we do not know how to look past, present, future in one moment. It has to be linear because the human eye or human mind is not able to sense um, that we are exist simultaneously. But she said on the other realm, she found that it is all together. Slide 3, please. I finally understand. Anita says that in this expanded state, everything suddenly seemed to make sense. She described it as my heightened aware in that expanded realm was indescribable, despite my best efforts to explain it. The clarity was amazing. The universe makes sense. I realized I finally understand. I know why I have cancer. I was too caught up in the wonder of that moment to dwell on the cause, although I'd soon examine it more clearly. So she said that it was, she didn't want to, she knew why she had cancer, but then she didn't want to dwell on that thought because it was so amazing otherwise. So she said that although she would soon examine, but in that moment she didn't. I also seemed to comprehend why I'd come into this life in the first place. I knew my true purpose. Why do I suddenly understand all this? So she's questioning herself in that experience. Why do I know this? I wanted to know who's giving me this information. Is it God? Is it Krishna, Buddha, Jesus? So how her conscious mind is also active in that moment, and she's thinking, who's giving me that information? And then I was overwhelmed by the realization that God isn't a being, but a state of being. And I was now that state of being. So now I think the concept what Patriji has been telling us, Aham Brahmasmi, this is exactly the same thing Anita is saying. Anita is saying that there is no God as such, it is a state of being. So she was now a state of being. So that means she is still herself a God. Her conclusion was that the divine was not a separate being somewhere outside her, but a state of being that she was experiencing directly. Aham Brahmasmi. The tapestry of life. Anita describes seeing her life like one thread within an enormous tapestry. Second. Her life intricately woven into everything she knows so far. Every person she had encountered represented another woven thread. Her mother, father, brother, Danny, friends, and even Billy, the boy who bullied her as a child. So everyone understand what is tapestry? I explained. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So every encounter contributed to the larger picture. So she's saying every single person, and she mentioned Billy, who bullied her, mother, father, friends, like every single person inside the house or outside the house or the close circle that contributed to the larger picture. And this led her to understand that she owed it to herself. Now, this paragraph is very interesting to listen, and we should all apply it on our lives. So, this led her to understand that she owed it to herself. to everyone she met, and to life itself to always be an expression of my unique essence. Anita says, trying to be anything or anyone else didn't make me better. It just deprived me of my true self. It kept others from experiencing me from who I am, deprived me of interacting authentically with them. And this last line is very interesting. Being inauthentic also deprives the universe of who I came here to be and what I came here to express. So, this is a wonderful paragraph, and she explained how, we all should be behaving when we are not giving happiness to ourselves. We are also not giving happiness. We are depriving universe of that happiness, of that authenticity, of being yourself. So it is very, very important to be yourself and love yourself. Loving yourself is not selfish, and it helps the universe. Who am I without all my labels? Now the question comes, who am I? Then came perhaps one of the deepest parts of Anita's experience. She realized, here I am without my body, race, culture, religion, or beliefs, yet I still exist. So she asked, who am I? Then what am I? Without all the identities she has spent her entire life trying to fit into, she did not feel smaller. She felt larger, more powerful, more expansive, more magnificent. I felt eternal. So, this is for everyone, for all of us to ask as well. Who are you if you remove your name, profession, nationality, religion, relationships, achievement, possessions, and even your body? Who is remained? Right? So, because much of our life is spent answering, who am I? I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a teacher, I'm an engineer, I am businessman. So, but who am I beneath all of that? And I've also read the book Who Am I with of Bhagwan Raman Maharishi, and he also talk about that wonderful book Who Am I. So, who am I? All beneath that. So, if you want to reach who am I, he said that the easiest way is whenever you are doing any act, and ask yourself, who am I? So you will come to me. Then who me? And then when you go dig deeper, you will, the answer will come that to the awareness and to the consciousness. So who am I beneath all of our labels is an awareness or a consciousness. Next slide, please, Chandra. So her biggest realization, why was I so hard on myself? Looking back at her life from the perspective, Anita began questioning the way she had treated herself. How have I never noticed this about myself before? She wondered. So, in her words, she said, how have I never noticed this about myself before? I wondered as I looked at the great tapestry that was the accumulation of my life up to that point. I was able to identify exactly what had brought me to where I was today. Just look at my life path. Why? Oh, why have I always been so harsh with myself? Was I always beating myself up? Why was I always beating myself up? Why was I always forsaking myself? Why did I never stand up for myself and show the world the beauty of my own soul? Why was I always suppressing my own intelligence and creativity to please others? I betrayed myself every time I said yes when I meant no. Why have I violated myself by always needing to seek approval from others just to be myself? Why haven't I followed my own beautiful heart and spoken my own truth? Why don't we realize this when we are in the physical bodies? So these are all the questions And these are the things we also so often do in our lives, right? So we need to ask this question where we have said yes, where we do not, where we wanted to say no. And when you want to say no and you're saying yes, that means you're betraying yourself. So why don't we realize this when we are in physical bodies? How come I never knew that we are not supposed to be so tough on ourselves? So Anita, in her words, is giving us message that as a human beings we have been taught and we have learned and we have grown up like this to be hard on ourselves. So stop doing that and start loving and living your life. This is probably the emotional center of the chapter. So I deserve love simply because I exist. So now it is coming to just an existence. Anita continues. I still felt myself completely enveloped in a sea of unconditional love and acceptance. I was able to look at myself within fresh eyes, and I saw that I was a beautiful being of the universe. I understood that just the fact that I existed made me worthy of this tender regard rather than judgment. I didn't need to do anything specific. I deserved to be loved simply because I existed, nothing more and nothing less. So she no longer believed she had to earn the right to be loved. She understood her worth as intrinsic. In her words, simply existing was enough, as she's keep on telling that she didn't have to do anything to deserve it. We are all connected. Anita describes another major realization. Everything is connected. Not only people, but animals, plants, nature, the earth, and the entire universe. She experienced individuality as part of something much larger rather than something separate from it. She said, we are all facets of that unity. We are all one. And each of us has an effect on the collective whole. So this is a lesson of oneness that Patriji gives, and we had oneness series. So this is in her experience, is telling that she was connected to everything. What about the cancer? So now why the cancer came? At the end of the chapter, Inta says that she no longer experienced her cancer as punishment or negative karma as a result of any of her action, as she previously believed it. So she thought earlier that she would have done some wrong karma in the past, and that's why it has happened to her. It was as though every moment held infinite possibilities, and where she was at that point in time was accumulation of every decision, every choice, and every thought of my entire life. Her many fears and her great power had manifested as this disease. So I just want to give the disclaimer that this is Anita's personal spiritual interpretation of her illness. We should not take it as a medical claim that fear causes cancer, because we've been talking about fear. Nor should anyone with illness feel responsible or guilty for becoming sick, right? So, so what we can explore in our life, I guess, what I got the message throughout the chapters and now is, if chronic fear, self suppression, and constantly abandoning ourselves can affect we experience life, even without making claims about the medical cause of illness. So our learning is not to find what illnesses we got because of what. We should, the message here is that we need to see, are we living our life to the fullest, or are we in chronic fear, suppression, and constantly abandoning her, and what experience it is bringing to our life, right? So this is the thing. So what is this chapter really about? So this chapter is feels it's a near death experience, but underneath it's about a dramatic reversal of almost everything she believed before. So this is again from this point, from this book onwards, when we finish this onward, there should be a reversal in our belief system as well, that it was a 360-degree turn. Earlier, she was in fear. Now she is experiencing freedom. From I need approval, she has come to I'm already worthy. I must become acceptable. Now she's saying I must be authentic. So she's coming, earlier she was in separation. Now she's coming to connection, to the oneness. What must I do to deserve love? She always asked, can I make the better rotis? Can I stop, my travel plans? Can I do to make something my, father, mother, or what can I do? I shouldn't have asked for tuna sandwich, for the restaurant because my would-be in-laws were not happy. So she was trying to deserve love to do the right things. But now I'm loved simply because I am. I exist. So with this, more than the extraordinary details of her near-death experience, it's probably most powerful bridge between Anita's experience and our everyday life, I believe. And we just need to go inside and look for our fears and start working on them to live a fuller life. With this, we end this chapter and we are open for question and answers. Was I a little fast today? Yes, Chandra. Yes, Narayana ji.
It was a little bit faster, but
Because it was a lot of content to read, I just didn't want to.
you already pre-decided to be faster, be ahead,
Yes.
so that we're expecting. There's a lot of content in this actually, the important things, and
And I
yeah,
wanted to pick up Anita lines because to see first what impact it was on her body and what was going on, and plus how she's feeling in every moment. So that's why I picked her lines.
yeah, I do have a question.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
and yesterday I spoke to someone about this, and then that I told them that he's a guy like he's been doing meditation since 50 years, maybe 40, 50 years.
Okay.
He's doing from teenage or maybe in 20s. Now he's in 70s now.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he said, yeah, you should read the book because the stage where you explained today. I was waiting for this
Near-death experience.
chapter. This
Yeah.
chapter actually.
Yes.
I was waiting because where he also mentioned about Advaita, like the Advaita philosophy,
Yeah.
the Aham Brahmasmi thing.
Yep.
So but in his words, it was a little bit simpler. Maybe he said she had a chance to enter into any body.
Oh, okay.
That's what he understood. Maybe
Okay.
everyone's perspective is different,
Different.
And if I read it, I mean it different.
Yeah.
I mean, I might take it different way. I mean, he said, she had a chance to get into anybody. So, but she made the choice. I mean, she chose her body back again.
Yeah.
So that I was expecting from you the same sentence, but it didn't tell me about that. And what was the span of time, like when she moved away from the board?
It doesn't mention in the book.
Oh,
So I don't know.
because we can guess because there was enough time to take away the
No, no.
body and then
No, I won't take a guess. The only reason because the time on Earth is different, the time in other realms
yeah,
in
I
the universe. So
understand.
there is no
I
for
have I have personally experienced something beyond
yes,
beyond this actually.
yes, yes,
And I don't want to I can't even recall. I'm very
yes,
scared. I know. I've experienced two incidents actually.
yeah,
I don't know why they chose me, but
yeah.
yeah, those immediately after the death, somebody came and wake me up actually.
Okay,
So the two times it happened, one in Australia, one in from India.
okay.
Yeah, but the place is far away, thousands of kilometers. How can
Yeah.
it happen?
Yeah.
But the moment they wake me up, when I double check, cross check, the time was exactly the same.
Same.
The death time, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, but
Mm.
it was a bit scary. So
Yes.
I didn't even share with
Can
my wife.
imagine. Yeah.
She will be screaming.
Yes.
And yeah, we can only guess that the time they have to disperse the body, like they don't give body immediately in few
No,
seconds.
it wasn't a death. She's still in coma.
In coma. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there was no question of body. She was in coma. And yeah, that's when she experienced it.
But they said we have to give up or something, like
Yeah,
few
they
hours.
said that we have to give up on her. They said there's maximum few hours, and then we will try. They are still trying their best to recover the body, and that's why they put it on MRI. And then because there was so many
No, she was in the bed or she was in the storage, like the
bed.
bed. That
You missed
means
the detail. There was she particularly mentioned
yeah,
there was a bed,
yeah,
there were
yeah,
switches,
yeah,
and there was machine. So she was in the bed. She is
yeah,
in her room, and she's in coma.
yeah. But we can't analyze now. But the thing is, like, she must have gone out by the time, but
Yeah.
they may be assuming still it could be fraction of a second.
Yes.
Everything must have happened.
Everything happens. That you're right.
Yeah, that's all.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Even my
Yes.
experience also, it was similar. Like I
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Scared. Yes. Thank you, Narayana
Thank
ji.
you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, Chandra.
Yeah, so basically, this is the first time I'm listening to ND near-death experience. I felt so excited listening to it. And one thing that basically caught me surprise was how difficult it is to leave this earth plane. Because,
Sorry, your voice is not coming.
okay, one
Ah.
second. Yeah, one thing I felt surprised me was how difficult it is to leave the earth,
Yep.
leaving everybody behind, because it's
Yeah.
when you look back, it's so difficult to leave and
It
then
is.
go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then she didn't put emphasis on, actually, it was very difficult. She mentioned that she felt free and she felt expanded and she had a sense that everything is planned and everything is right. It is happening as per the grander plan, like the bigger picture. And yes, for few moments when she looked back, what she wanted to do is she wanted to calm down her husband and then probably go, I guess. But then she couldn't do that. And so she is more into that. There were moments that she was emotionally attached, but then also simultaneously she felt pulled away in the cosmos with that freedom. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
will read this chapter in the PDF because I want
Yeah.
to understand better.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
No worries. So, I wanted to ask something to everyone. So there was a line I said, "What about the cancer?" And she said, "It was as though every moment held infinite possibilities, and where she was at that point in time was accumulation of every decision, every choice, and every thought of my entire life. Her many fears and her great power had manifested as this disease." Anyone wants to explain what they understood by it? Is there any question on this line?
Maybe she realized the reason for getting that.
That's why I read this line. This is very important. So I'll read it again. It was as though every moment held infinite possibilities, and where she was at that point in time was accumulation of every decision, every choice, and every thought of my entire life. Her many fears and her great power had manifested as this disease. So to me, it understands as in every moment, we always have a choices, infinite choices, right? And it is up to us what choice we make, right? And life, and so what she's saying that every moment she chose to be not her in her life. Every moment she had a choice to be herself, or she had a choice, like for example, a tuna sandwich example, that she went to a restaurant to, when the grooms, their in-laws were coming to see her, and she mistakenly asked tuna sandwich, and she got so scared that why she had tuna sandwich. So in that moment she had a choice, either to be okay with it, or either be scared and fearful what's going to happen because other people won't like it. So she's saying every moment we have a choice, we have infinite choice, and it is up to us what choice we make. And if we make a choice, be okay with it. So nothing, sometimes, again, we need to remember ourselves, there is nothing wrong, nothing right in this world. We have come to Earth School just for an experience. And no experience is good or bad experience. It's just experience. We label it as good or bad. We label the things right or wrong. So if as per the society norms as well, if you have done something, just be yourself. Try to make the choices, whatever makes you feel loved to yourself, authentic to yourself. Again, very simple example to remember this is, if you want to say no, just say no. Don't say yes. Just because you want to make other person happy. So she's saying she had the infinite choices, and because of all the decisions she had made throughout her life. And because of that was the accumulation of the fear and the power and all those negative thinking, negative stress that has accumulated as a disease in her body. She didn't blame it on karma, she didn't blame it or anything else. She blamed it was her decision throughout her life that led her, like for example, when she came to know about Sony, that she is having a cancer, she had a choice. She just be there as a supportive person and send love to her and research to the level that she can handle. But then she chose to go further and further and further and further, to the point that she's started get scared of microplastics and microwaves and things like that. So we had a choice. We always have a choice when to stop, right? So I'll give you an example. We were looking for a property for us to go in, and it's a big land, and there is a snakes. There are chances of there to be snake. And honestly, I made my 1 week like hell, because I was like, how can we live there if there are snakes, if the snakes come? And this came on, and I started Googling, what can you do to, keep the snakes away? And here, and I searched everything. And then it becomes difficult for me to sleep. And I'm telling myself, Shivani, and then one fine day, I stopped. I said, that's it. Whatever it is, we'll see when we go. We are not gonna, think about it. So this is how we always have a choice, when to stop, when to start, what to do, what not to do, when to say yes, when to say no. So that's what I think, in my understanding, she meant that all her decisions, build that up so much in her body that it came up as a cancer.
Yeah, well explained actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did mention about yes and no before, but we didn't relate to that actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Okay. I did actually thought if no one asked the question about this, I'm going to ask myself. So you
I mean, are you going to continue with this? What happened after that, or maybe going to be end? Today is the end. Like,
no, we will read the full book.
Yeah,
There is
because
lot to know now still. So this is basically her. This is now she will tell in coming that how she started to look at the world. Now that she know everything, how she's looking at the world and how we should be looking. So we will how things start to happen. It is still there is interesting. There are many chapters still left. We are just in the not even the half. What chapter it is? 1 second. Book. Yeah, we are just in the half of the book. It is chapter 7 and we have around 18, 19, 18, I think. Not even half. Yeah. Cool. This whole month we will read a book.
I don't know how many days I can attend, but sometimes
That's okay.
The Fridays definitely I won't be able to. But yeah, few other days if I miss,
Yes. Yeah.
Because you told me just now you mentioned about the tuna thing, but I think I missed it. Maybe.
Yeah, you missed it. You were not in that session. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. We have recordings as well, Narayana ji, if you want to catch up.
No. Now, bit of understanding. I got some bit of understanding now. Maybe if I read the book, maybe it will be better. Yeah.
Yes. That's fine.
I'm not used to the English books. That's a problem. That's why I take long time to read them, understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chandra, it's 10 o'clock, but can I please request to play music for 10-15 minutes?
Yeah, I'll start the music.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.